You are listening to the Choose Your Struggle podcast, a member of the Shameless Podcast Network. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that it's not the only thing I do. Choose Your Struggle is an entire brand. I speak, I coach and consult. I have rock bottom storytellers. There's a lot going on. And sometimes I get to a project and I go, man, I can't do all of this myself. So I turn to Fiverr. It's so easy to find incredible professionals who can help me out. I've hired people to help with marketing, help with SEO, help with my website. So much great stuff all on Fiverr. I even found Kid Mental, who did the incredible theme song on Fiverr. So if you have a project that you need some help on, go check out Fiverr. Use the link in the show notes or my podcast website, and you'll help the podcast in the process. Check them out today.
Spread love, choose your struggle.
Hello and welcome to the Choose Your Struggle podcast. Happy Monday. Hope your week is off to a good start. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode with Rebecca Lieb. I greatly did. Now, I know it's Monday. This is not going to be a traditional episode. One thing you said on the surveys from last season was that you really liked the extra episode on Mondays. Another thing you said is you wanted to hear more from me, and as I promised, that's going to happen more on the Friday episode. And while I really like putting out special episodes when I have them, I don't always have episodes that are worthy of putting out on Mondays. So, when I don't, I'm going to put out these, the Monday Motivation. Now, this idea stems from LinkedIn, where every Monday, I post a Monday affirmation, and I thank somebody who's been influential in my life. Some of these are people who I know personally, others I don't. But they always get good conversations. They always make the person feel good. They always reach out afterwards and tell me how great it made them feel and how their week is off to a better start because of it. If you're interested in seeing these, please follow me on LinkedIn. It's just Jay Shifman. But I wanted to do something similar here on the podcast, but instead of an affirmation, do an idea or motivation to help get our weeks off in a good way. Now, this week's theme comes from the conversation between Rebecca and I on last week's episode. It's changing our perceptions. Now, Rebecca and I talked about how absurd it is that almost 40% of those surveyed do not believe in life existing somewhere else in the galaxy, despite that already being established, because they can't conceptualize what life means other than our own definition. It's one thing to not believe in intelligent life. You know, as I said on the show, I find that selfish, but that's okay. It's another thing to say you don't believe in life at all, which has already been proven, just not the way you want it to be proven. And it made me think of this quote that I found in one of the card boxes from our friends at Blurt, from A.A. Milne, who most of you may know as the author of Winnie the Pooh, who said, "Weeds are flowers too once you get to know them." See, the thing is, we allow definitions, we allow labels, we allow the way things society tells us they are to color our perceptions. That's why words are so important, because they carry the weight, they carry the meaning. As I'm recording this on Sunday the 10th, we're still arguing about what to call last week's insurrection against our government at the Capitol. And I know I didn't say anything about that on the show on Friday because I'd already recorded that. Personally, that was happening while I was interviewing somebody for this show, and that will come out in a couple weeks, and that'll be really interesting when it comes out. You'll hear us talking about that briefly. But what was so interesting to me is and afterwards, what we've all fought about what to call it. Now, was it a coup? Was it a riot? One thing it definitely wasn't. Once they breached the walls of the Capitol, it was no longer a protest. And I think about the difference between what the media and what leaders have called this, as opposed to what they called people like myself who participated in Black Lives Matter demonstrations and protests over the summer. You know, they called us violent provocateurs and all sorts of stuff, and yet the same words were not used during this event. It's all about our perception. It's all about allowing ourselves to take a step back and be mindful and say, is it possible I'm not seeing this the way that everybody else does? Or not even everyone else, but some else. Some people, is it possible that they have a different perception than I do? What do you think about this? Now, these Monday motivations are meant to be interactive. I want to hear from you. And in fact, I'm going to make it super Super easy. Anyone who responds to this, anyone, is going to get a Choose Your Struggle sticker sent to them in the mail. Now, the first person who responds is also going to get a magnet. So you have two incentives. Number one, participate in this conversation. I want to hear from you. And I will post some of the responses I like on social media, probably in the Facebook page. So if you haven't liked that yet, like the Facebook page. But anyone who responds will also be getting a sticker, and the first person will get a magnet sent to them. So it's very easy. Go to social media or go to my website. All of those are in the show notes. As always, the website is jshifman.com. Search for Choose Your Struggle or Jay Shifman. And tell me what you think. Tell me what this makes you feel. Tell me what this stirs up in you. That's all you got to do. It can be as simple as a one-line response. It can be a paragraph. It can be an entire letter. Tell me what you feel. Because we're all in this together. And the Choose Your Struggle brand is a community. All right. I hope you have a wonderful week. This week's episode will be fantastic. And make sure you are subscribed to the Facebook page, because we do have Rock Bottom Storytellers coming up pretty soon. But I want to hear from you. That's the most important thing. All right. Enjoy your week and choose your struggle.